Grace loved music. She loved it since she was a child. Her father played guitar. Her mother sang songs. The house was always full of music. Grace once whispered to herself, "Music is not just sound. Music is home." In college, Grace studied music. She stayed late in the studio. She chased every note. She wanted to touch people's hearts. She told herself, "One day I will make music that speaks louder than words." One morning, Grace opened her email. Her heart stopped for a moment. It was a letter from Echo Sounds. It was the top music company in the city. The letter said, "You are hired." Grace covered her mouth and cried. Her dream was calling. She thought, "This is the first step. My life begins now." On her first day, Grace wore her best outfit. She held a notebook tight. Her hands were shaking. When she entered the building, her eyes widened. Gold records shined on the walls. Music awards filled the hall. She thought, "This is not an office. This is a temple of music." The receptionist smiled. "Welcome to Echo Sounds." She gave Grace a tour. Grace saw studios, meetings, and rehearsals. Everywhere people worked with passion. She whispered, "I want to belong here." Soon she stood before a big door. It said, "President's Office." Grace took a deep breath. She knocked. "Come in," a deep voice said. Grace entered. A tall man stood behind the desk. He wore a sharp suit. His eyes were cold and strong. It was Alexander Grant, the president. Grace forced a smile. "Hello, Mr. Grant, I'm Grace, the new assistant." Alexander shook her hand. "Welcome. I expect great work from you." Grace felt a heavy weight on her chest. But she answered, "Yes, Mr. Grant, I will do my best." That night she worked late. The office was quiet. Her phone rang. It was Michael, her boyfriend. "Are you still at work?" he asked softly. "Yes," Grace said. "There is so much to do." Michael paused. Then he said, "I support you. But don't forget your own dream. Work is not your whole life." Grace looked at the papers on her desk. Her heart felt heavy. She whispered, "Dreams can shine, but they can also fade." She stared out the window at the city lights. She told herself, "This is only the beginning. I will not lose myself." Days passed. Grace worked harder and harder. Her phone never stopped ringing. Her inbox was always full. She stayed late at night. She came home tired. Sometimes she thought, "Work eats my life." She wanted to breathe, but the work pulled her deeper. One evening she dropped a pile of papers. Her eyes filled with tears. At that moment, a gentle voice said, "Let me help you." Grace looked up. It was Lily, a senior producer. She had kind eyes and a calm smile. She picked up the papers and said, "Don't worry. I was once like you." Grace felt warmth in her chest. She whispered, "Maybe I am not alone." From that day, Lily guided her. She explained the work. She shared her own mistakes. She reminded Grace to eat. She reminded her to rest. Grace thought, "Lily is not just a mentor. She is my friend." But while Grace grew closer to Lily, she grew distant from Michael. One night, Michael waited outside her office. His face was tired. "You forgot our dinner," he said softly. Grace froze. "I'm sorry, I had to work." Michael looked into her eyes. "You used to sing for me. Now you only type for him." Grace felt a sharp pain. She whispered, "I am losing him, and I am losing me." The next week, Grace met DJ Ethan. He was full of energy. He spoke with fire in his voice. "Music is not about rules," he said. "Music is about freedom." Later she met Olivia, a songwriter. Olivia's words were bold. She said, "Don't just follow. Create. Your story matters." Grace listened, heart beating fast. In that moment, she felt something wake inside her. She thought, "Maybe I want more than this desk. Maybe I want my own music." She walked home that night. The city lights flickered. Her mind was loud with questions. She whispered, I came here to serve music, not just to serve men in suits. Echo Sounds planned a big music launch. Grace was in charge. It was her first huge task. The night before, she could not sleep. Her heart beat fast. She told herself, this is not fear, this is fire. The next day the hall was full. Lights flashed, fans cheered, cameras waited. Grace checked the schedule again and again. Her hands shook, but she whispered, stay calm, breathe. Then disaster came. The sound system went silent. The crowd grew restless. Voices rose. What's wrong? What happened? For 1 second, Grace froze. Then she ran backstage. She checked the wires. She called the team. Her voice was steady. Check the backup. Switch the line. Go, go, go! Minutes felt like hours. Finally, the music came back. The crowd cheered louder than before. On stage, the singer Sam smiled at her. Later he said, you saved the show. You are stronger than you think. Grace's chest warmed. She thought, courage is not loud. Courage is calm. That evening, Alexander called her into his office. His face was serious. He said, good job, Grace. You proved yourself today. Grace almost cried. It was the first time he praised her. She whispered inside, I belong here, at least for now. A few days later, Grace met Jessica, a former assistant. Jessica now ran a famous music blog. She wore bright colors. Her laugh was free. Grace asked, do you miss this job? Jessica shook her head. No, I chose my own path. Music is bigger than one office. Grace walked away with her words echoing inside. She thought, maybe life has many doors. Maybe I don't need to stay in one room. That night, Michael called. His voice was tense. Grace, tell me, do you still dream of your own songs? Or do you only dream of his company? Grace held the phone tight. Her lips trembled. She whispered, I don't know anymore. The line went quiet. And in that silence, Grace felt a storm inside. Days turned heavy. Grace worked. She smiled at meetings. But inside, she felt empty. She told herself, I am busy, but I am lost. One afternoon she heard a familiar laugh. She turned and saw Emily. Emily was her old friend from college. Back then they wrote songs together. Now Emily carried a guitar and bright eyes. Grace! Emily hugged her. I play in small bars now. Life is not rich, but life is mine. Grace watched her. She thought, her joy is simple, but it is real. They sat in a cafe. Emily strummed her guitar. She sang a raw, honest song. People stopped to listen. Emily said, Grace, you once had a voice. Where is it now? Grace looked down. Tears touched her eyes. She whispered, I buried it under papers. Emily leaned close. Then dig it out. The world needs your sound. Grace felt her heart wake. She thought, dreams do not die. They only sleep. The next week, David, the marketing director, called her. Grace, he said, we need new ideas. Join my creative project. Bring your heart, not just your hands. Her eyes widened. Someone finally wanted her voice, not just her time. She whispered, maybe this is my door. That night, Grace met Michael. They sat in a quiet park. The wind was soft. Michael spoke first. I don't want to fight. I just want the real you back. Grace took his hand. Her voice shook. Michael, I was scared to lose this job, but I don't want to lose us, and I don't want to lose myself. Michael's eyes softened. He pulled her close. We can face it together. Just promise me one thing. Don't forget your song. Grace nodded. She whispered, my song is coming back. The next day she joined David's project. She wrote, she played, she laughed again. Her chest felt light, her soul felt alive. She thought, Music is not work. Music is breath. Grace sat at her desk. Papers covered the table. But her mind was clear. She told herself, I am ready. It is time to move. The next morning she knocked on Alexander's door. He looked up, surprised. Grace, what is it? Her hands shook, but her voice was steady. Mr. Grant, thank you for everything, but I must leave. I need to follow my own music. Silence filled the room. Alexander leaned back. For the first time his eyes softened. He said, Most people fear leaving. You are brave. I respect that. Grace blinked in shock. She whispered, Respect feels better than praise. Later, she met Lily in the hallway. Lily hugged her tight. You gave so much here, Lily said, but I am proud you chose yourself. Grace's eyes filled with tears. She whispered, Friendship is not about staying. It is about believing. On her last day, a new assistant came. She was young, nervous, and shy. She asked, How can I survive here? Grace smiled. Don't just survive, grow, and don't lose your song. The girl's eyes shined. Grace felt a circle complete. That night, Grace walked into a small bar. Emily waved from the stage. Come, sing with me. Grace took the mic. Her hands trembled, but her heart was free. The first note left her lips. The crowd grew quiet. Then they clapped, louder and louder. Grace closed her eyes. She thought, This is where I belong, not behind a desk, but inside a song.